So this is how I go about rigging the hips of most of my characters. Um, I mean, it kind of varies from character to character. So I already have all the bones that um, we're gonna need made here, but I'll kind of I'll just go step by step with it. So let's take these are gonna be the bones you want to use. Move that to one layer, and these are gonna be our like non-deforming bones. So it's really simple as far as like your deformation deformation bones are concerned here. So you have your hip and your spine, really typical kind of setup. And right now they're just kind of, actually this should be parented to that. And you know what, we'll just actually I don't want these to be connected. So we'll just redo this parent them with keep offset. And so you want your hip bone to just kind of be on its own. Like you don't want this to really be parented to anything but the overall bone. And this is going to be our bone that it's going to control the spine and the hip mechanism. So this bone, you're going to want to have the root of your spine and hip bone parented to this one. So now we have like all these bones following that. And also, you're gonna want to repair if you want to obviously have your shoulder, your neck, and your breastbones parented to your top spine bone. So this is going to be controlling entire uh, the entire torso. Now this bone, we're going to use this one to be our track two bone for the hip. And like when this moves, we're not going to move this bone. This bone, you don't want to touch it once we have it set up. But when you move this bone, that's going to be tracking to that. So let's do damp track. So now we have our hip bone doing what we want it to do, and it'll look better if we parent the um, leg stuff to that, and then also these two helper bones. They just kind of deform. They help to make the deformation look a little nicer. Parent that to that, and now we have a better looking kind of hip movement. And without it, it looks like this. So when you move the bone, you're not getting the rotation, but with the damp track, you get that nice kind of like, rotation in the hips. So, um, there we go. Yeah. So this is like basically the setup finished pretty much. What I like to do is I like putting this down like half, half influenced on the damp track because now you can rotate the bone as well as translate the bone. And right now, like the pivot of this bone is like down here, which doesn't look very good. So what I'll do sometimes is if I don't place this bone like more around like here-ish, I'll just pair that to a control bone. So you can have it rotate around this bone's pivot and also move it around. So you get kind of a nice best of both worlds kind of thing going on. And one more thing that helps this look a little bit more natural is you can have the base of your spine chain copy the transform of the hip bone. So there's two ways that you can do this that both look pretty good, but it just really depends on like what you want to do and like what the character, the setup is like and like how much you want the movement of the hips to affect the spine. Right now, if you move the hip root or the hip bone here, it's gonna follow it no matter what. Like you can't move it around. But like I usually put that on like point 0.1, point 0.3, one of these. Like just really depends on the character, like how it looks for you. But when you do that, you get this nice kind of like follow motion, and the spine kind of rotates with the hips, and it looks good when you do it that way. But like sometimes you might not want all this motion going on, and so if you set the local space, it you still get a little bit of that. That's pretty much it. Like look, it looks okay. It would look better with some more like helper bones. Like when the hips thrust like that. If you probably will try that out actually. Add a couple kind of helper bones here real quick. Let's put you down here. Parent that to the base of the spine and symmetrize and use automatic weights. Let's see. Yeah, it looks that's better. I know the tail isn't parented to the oops, and parented to the hip bone, so yeah, there we go, it's better.